And good evening to everyone, to the regular guys, to the newcomers, guys who just joined last week or two. And thank you, Kit. For you, it's good afternoon. You're in California. Thank you for taking the time to talk about your very personal transformation, your marriage transformation. And let me just take a second to just make sure. Guys, can you hear me well? Can you see me well? Let me know in the comments. I know, Kit, you can hear me well, but that's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make sure a few other people can hear as well. And I'm excited about doing this interview. What I like about these interviews and what other men really appreciate is actually seeing a real person, a real man in the middle, not at the end, with all the glitz and glamour of like a transformed marriage, but in the middle of the process of like, it's sometimes messy, it may be painful, it may be uncomfortable. What is going on? What is the guy doing? Why is he doing it? Where were you? Where are you heading? And so we're going to have a little bit of fun. And let's just say fun. Kit, we both know some parts of this are not fun, right? But it's still something which other guys are going to gain a lot from. And so enough out of me. I'm going to stop talking. Why don't you tell guys a little bit about yourself and just talk about what was going on before you even joined our Facebook group. Like, what was going on in your life, in your marriage, what was not going on? Like, where did it start from? And you don't have to go back 12 years to the beginning of your marriage, but I'm saying give a couple of minutes of like, a couple of months, like a month and a half ago before you joined the Facebook group. What was going on?
Yeah, so I've been married for 12 years, just like what David said. And for the longest time, I think I have the best marriage ever. Like I'm very much in love with my wife, and then everything looks fine and very peaceful. And then up till like somewhere like in the end of last year, my wife took a sabbatical, and then right after that, everything just changed. And then she acted really cold for a while, and then by February, she all of a sudden, after some incident, she just come up and tell me that, oh, okay, I want to separate. And so she just moved out of the house, and I'm just all alone in the house for a while. And I was just like, so thinking, like, what's going on? I thought I have the best marriage. I don't see any like warning sign at all and stuff like that. And so for a long while, I was like trying to change all my behavior. Like, oh, maybe I'm not cooking enough. Maybe I'm not caring enough. I'm not doing the housework enough. I didn't buy her enough gifts, or etc. I go online to find like all these different blog posts or like videos, YouTubes, and then say, oh, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, and things like that. So just keep like trying a lot of random stuff. And so
and I have to say that you bought your wife expensive gifts. I mean, right? You bought a really expensive piece of jewelry. Like, you've invested a lot in the marriage. It's not like Kit just woke up and said, hey, I gotta start doing something. Like, you have been buying her expensive, really expensive gifts. So just a little bit of context over here. I don't want guys watching this to say, hey, you just woke up. Like, no, you've been doing it. Just for a moment, I would like to hear from guys. How many guys watching this resonate with Kit? Like, you think your marriage is doing well. You may even think, like, Kit, you have the best marriage, but you may, even if you don't think you have the best marriage, how many guys have been in the experience where, like, you think things are going okay, me and my wife are getting along, and, like, boom, where did that come from? Why would she say that? Like, why would she decide that? What is going on? What have I been missing for months or even years? So I would like to hear how many guys have related to that, but I appreciate you bringing that out. And back to also, how many guys relate to the thing of like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I got to do more. More cleaning, more cooking, more housework, more gifts. And I just wanted to interrupt you for a moment because your story, while it's personal and painful, it's so typical. It's very common. So, but go on. So what did you do after February comes? She leaves. You decide you got to do more. You go online, a bunch of stuff online. What happens then?
Nothing. Yeah, she's just keep really cold to me. A lot of the things I did, she doesn't even notice, and yeah, and a lot of the advice is like really like everywhere. Like so.
For example, let's have fun. What advice are you talking about?
Like some of the advice about saying like not talking to her, let her be for a while. Some other people were advising me to go barge on the doors of where she is, even though I don't know where she is, and trying to confront her or something like that. Yeah, that's all sort of advice.
So that's two opposite pieces of advice. Yes. That's too conflicting. And by the way, Kit, one of the interesting things, one of the problematic things, and I think we spoke about it in one of our in the initial interview when we spoke, me and you, that one of the problems out there is that guys, even if they happen to come across some little pieces of good advice, they sometimes combine things that don't make sense with each other. Like certain pieces of advice don't go together. They're not meant to go in the same recipe, in the same strategy, in the same plan. So, but over here you can see like a typical example of two opposite pieces of advice. So, but go on. So what happens? So what was going on in your marriage?
Yeah. So I tried for a few months, like until May. Then I come across with what David has a few other clips, and then I was watching a little bit, and then I think
you came across
a lot of the points.
You came across the Facebook group, or you were the YouTube channel? Where did you?
The Facebook group. The Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and what did you see in the Facebook group? This is an interesting question. Like, what did you see in the Facebook group that resonated with you, that gave you a sense of, one second, that there's a whole different way of looking at this?
Yeah.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure I remember it, but it should be something related to like your inner cats or something like that. In that regard, about like yourself, like improving yourself, and a lot of things is actually you instead of your wife, and that actually resonates a lot. But the actual real turning point is when I signed up to have a private one-on-one chat with you, like for like half an hour, and then I told you a little bit about like some of my stories, and what you immediately can.
By the way, don't tell everybody it was a half hour. It was a half hour. It was officially 15 minutes. It just turned into half hour. I don't want people to expect it to be a half hour, but you were special, right. So it went half hour.
Yeah. So the thing is, you were able to like really like digest what I say, and then come up with the point saying that, hey, that's like a symptom. That's not the root cause. And then that's kind of ring a bell in me, saying that, oh, okay, I'm just not like taking it serious enough, that I need the like a systematic and a uniform approach, and I need coaching. I need somebody to tell me or kick my butt in some way to say that, hey, you're doing this wrong, and you're doing this right, or something like that. And then I'm pointing you in one direction, and you don't have to spin around. And I was like looking at 4 or 5 different guys speaking on YouTube on a daily basis, and then taking in different type of advice. But as you said, some of them are conflicting with each other, right? So I'm thinking I should stop doing that. And whatever David has, like he actually really like kicked my butt on that particular interview, and
don't scare anyone, all right? Don't scare anybody. But Kit deserved it. Kit deserved it. You should know. Nobody else. I don't kick anybody else's butt. It was only Kit, because no, we were having fun. But
yeah, I really like yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Kit, can I interrupt you? Ask a question. You said some pretty advanced things, and some of these I don't really talk about in the Facebook group, like the inner cat. I talk about it very, very little in the Facebook group because it's really advanced. It's certainly not beginner, and for new guys, no clue what inner cat means, and it's something we really go about. You know, when we work together, we go in a lot more detail. But let's go a little bit slow. You said an interesting thing about fundamentals and symptoms, but you said it so quickly because I know you know what you're talking about. But how would you explain fundamentals and symptoms to a new guy watching this, or not even a new guy, somebody who's like saying, Kit, you heard what Dave... I have had a lot of videos here. People heard what I have to say. How would you explain fundamentals and symptoms? From your perspective, from a man going through the process right now, what in the world what does that mean?
Like, for a lot of guys like me, we are like fixer in our mind, right? So whatever our wife tells us about like what we did wrong, then we take it at the face value. So for example, my wife told me I have communication problem. So then, okay, let me try to improve my communication problem. So I sign up for this class to improve my communication problem, or sign up that class. And then when I talk about this with David, and then the things he said is, I remember that's just the symptom, right? That's not the root cause.
When you say sign up, when you said sign up for class, you're talking about other things you signed up for.
Yeah,
right?
Whether I should,
not me, because
not you.
Okay.
Whether I should sign up, like, okay, there's a bunch of other LinkedIn like classes to improve your communication skill at work or something like that. This type of stuff. I'm not talking about that, but some other things. My wife would tell me, right, that you don't do this, you don't do that, and we take it as the face value. But a lot of this, what you said, is like those are just symptoms. That's behind some of the root cause. And there's some of the root cause that if you don't really identify and you go and change your attitude or your fundamental thinking process on those root cause, there's no use of changing all these symptoms. Like I can sign up the best course in LinkedIn to improve my communication skill, so I can talk like really good, like
sounds
any
smart,
business,
right?
And something like that. That's fine, but yeah. If I'm not thinking about having the right mindset, having the right like my original thought or what I really want to talk about and change my thinking in that sense.
Let's put it. Can I make it in a simple way, because you're trying to explain a lot of details. If what you're talking about is if you can't see you. Like, if you can't see the part of your personality that has been pushing your wife away, you can study communication, and you're a very successful person. Like, you understand, yes, communication could be important at work. You have significant work. You have subordinates. You have a boss. You're important in what you do. You could appreciate communication, but when it comes to marriage, communication doesn't help, because communication, nobody told you how to communicate when you fell in love with your wife, right? Communication is a result of a good marriage, and bad communication is the natural result of a painful marriage. So a fundamental, just to sum up what you're saying in a lot of details, is the ability to see yourself, the ability to see Kit, the ability to see what is it that my wife sees, right, Kit? Like, what is it that Betty is seeing when it comes down to that, right? And having done that, like, what was your first impression when we actually started working together and you started uncovering, your inner cat, that part of your personality, a very specific part of your personality? What was your first aha moment or awareness, or to whatever degree you feel comfortable? Like, what happened? What did you see that clarified all those years that you thought you had the best marriage? What did you uncover?
I think at some points, a lot of what you ask us to do is like to write stuff down, to write down some of the informations that after going through some of the training, and then you want us to write something down, and then you keep reviewing what we write down, right? So one of the aha moments I have is when I'm writing down something that said, okay, how about my relationship with my coworkers? Or how about my relationship with my parents? How about my relationship with my siblings? So now when I kind of expand a little bit and I said, oh, okay, then I started to see a pattern, right? That I'm projecting some of the negative things I'm doing to my other people's, also to my wife. And so, and these are not really like some death sentence or something. It's tiny things here and there and stuff, right? But yeah, it can accumulate.
Can I elaborate on what you just said? You know, tiny things. Yeah. Kit just said you just said a very important thing. Like when we're talking about uncovering like the image, like put it this way, your wife is not talking to you. And it's not just you, even the guys watching this. If you are in a very painful relationship, a relationship where you're separated, on divorce process, and your wife feels really, really stuck, or she's just blocking intimacy and communication and connection, what's really happening, Kit, is that she's not talking, assuming you're a good person and you really love her, right? Let's assuming that is true. Because if that's not true, I can't help you. I don't know who can, but I can't, right? But if that's true, and your wife is still stuck, and she's still repeating the same things, and she's not happy with the effort you're making, what is really happening is that your wife is talking not to you, but she's talking to a memory of you. And the memory of you is something that has accumulated, Kit, over time. Over time, and this is what Kit was saying before, little pieces. It's not like, I'm so messed up, I'm doing so many things wrong, that I have to, the things that, major big things that regular counseling might pick up. It's not that. It's very micro, it's granular, it's detailed, it's specific. We talk about the 3%. It's 3% of your personality or 3% of the things that you're saying or doing, which is ruining the rest of your effort, which is blocking your wife from feeling your love, which is sending her the wrong picture of you, which is giving her the wrong opinion of you, which is making her feel that you're being manipulative or selfish or controlling or desperate, right? So that's and the reason, Kit, why I wanted to just jump in on that is because you said little things, and I want guys to understand we are really talking about little details. You can do, as you have done, a lot of things correctly in your marriage, Kit. You have. Even before meeting me, before going online, before signing up for other people's communication courses, you were already doing quite a few good things for your marriage. And everybody is different. Some guys are not. And that's part of the process, the journey for some men. We're talking about picking up on those small details. And that's actually, in a certain way, that's harder because it's small. It's a little thing. So what were you, if somebody asked you, Kit, what are you excited about right now? Like, what do you love most about the journey that you're middle of? You're like 4 weeks into, I think we're in week 5 already. The beginning of week 5. Yeah. What if someone asked you this? Well, I am asking you this. What excites you most about the past 4 weeks? Like, what have you uncovered that was the best thing for you in the past 4 weeks? Then we'll talk about the future soon.
Really, a lot of things about the writing is actually what excited me. Like, when I write, and I really like try to put my mind onto it, because like before I joined the program, if you watch a YouTube videos or you read a blog post, it's really a passive way of digesting the information. Oh, I learned these things, and then this is good, right? But when you really write it down, or when you actually talk about this with like somebody like David, or in some of the sessions that he has, right? Then you really like think through this a little bit more, and you really like dive deep into your inner self, right? And with the training that some of the training video that he has, and then as the background. And then when you actually talk about all these things, then you have a more like deeper understanding of the problems that you have. I'm not saying that we are all broken or we are all bad person or something. I'm saying that, okay, I know I'm a good person, but I'm not like a perfect husband. And so how do I become a perfect husband, right?
Well, one second. Perfect. So, I don't even think I'm a perfect husband, right, by the way. Yeah. So you may become better than me. So it's not about perfection. It's about if I'm a good person and I love my wife, but somehow she doesn't feel it and trust it enough to want to continue and grow in the marriage with me, then what is it about me that's blocking it? So it's not about heading for perfection. It's about picking up on the part of my personality which is ruining everything else. Like the little bit of my personality which is like, it's just like, it's the mustard in the cake. It's that little ingredient that ruins everything else.
Yeah, but the other thing is also that like your wife is the most intimate person that you are with. So those tiny things just add up, and over a long period of time, then it becomes something that is like quite unbearable to her. So really the way of thinking it is, how do I think it in such a way that
that's a powerful
is from
point.
her perspective a little bit. That's
a powerful point. You just said it so beautifully. It's not just an I mean, you're very intellectual. I know from working with you, you're very brainy, and you like the scientific breakdown of things. But what you just said now is it's a powerful reality. Like your wife women accumulate things over time, and it becomes like we forget, they don't. They live in the past in certain ways we don't want to, because hey, let's just move forward. We're doing well, let's just do better. But that it's a reality. Women in a certain way do live in the past. It's not a negative or bad or wrong thing. It's just an important thing to understand. And when you're working on fixing a marriage, what's happening is a lot of the strategies out there don't factor in how to see things from your wife's perspective. And if you don't know how to see it from her perspective, Kit, you will not know how to interact with her from that perspective. You will not know how to communicate to her. You can learn all the communication courses in the world, but if you don't see yourself from the same lens she sees you accurately, kind of wasting time. Communication may give you like a peaceful divorce. It may give you, it may make you feel better about yourself. It may even make you want to blame her because, hey, you worked on yourself, she didn't work on herself. You know what I mean? Like, well, you really got to get to the heart of like, how does she see me really ultimately? And I didn't see comments because I'm talking to you, so I'll check comments later. But I would love to hear from guys. What so far has resonated from Kit's story? What strategies have you tried, which you now understand? At least have the understanding of what doesn't work. Because on the way to understanding what does work, you sort of have to understand what doesn't work. It's really important. Part of the problem, Kit, as we both know, part of the problem that you experienced is, having your heart in the right place but doing the wrong thing, right?
Yep.
So, and quite frankly, the only guys I work with are guys who have their heart in the right place. Like if a guy is a real nasty, selfish person, how in the world am I going to help him? Really? Like, how can I help him? Right? It's about, but when your heart is in the right place, and then you need the strategy. Okay, that now we can talk about it. But Kit, as we close out our conversation over here, what are you looking forward to over the next 4 weeks?
I'm looking forward to like having my mindset transform a little bit. Like on the day-to-day interactions and things like that, I'm still like showing like some of my inner demons or of some sort. Like I have negative thoughts and things like that, and that can be contributed to how my mindset hasn't been transformed. So I'm really looking forward to like really like having like the brain muscle or train or transform in such a way that I can actually, I can have those negative thoughts, but I know how to control them, and I know how to actually act in such a way that that I don't get controlled by those negative thinking, and so I'm still a little bit learning on that, and so I'm looking forward to being a more transformed or more refined person in this way, in which I'm not being controlled by my negative thoughts and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting, but that's all about yourself, and that's not bad. But it's all about yourself. What are you looking forward to in terms of your marriage or interacting with your wife?
Yeah,
I put you on the spot, right? I put you on the spot right now.
I obviously like she moved out and then she's separating with me, and then she actually served me divorce paper already. So I'm obviously looking forward to have a talk with her. She hasn't even talked to me like face to face at all, and so I really look forward to like using a transformed mindset to talk to her, and I hope to avoid divorce, of course. But I'm also understanding that like if I truly love her, divorce is just a piece of paper that I don't have to be too worried over. And if I truly love her, then even after we divorce, I still have chance to win her back. So and I can win her back with a really transformed mindset and all these different behaviors and communication that comes with transformations, and hopefully be able to like convince her eventually. That's my hope. Yeah.
Thank you. And you know, Kit, it's like we spoke about this in the past as well. Divorce is a legal status. You can have people who are legally married but miserable for 90 years. And you could have people who get divorced and then they fall back in love. And their second relationship is unbelievable because they learned so much from the first one, like what not to do. So the legal status, as much as it may be painful or scary, but it's not an indication of your emotional connection. But there is something else that I want to ask you. Like, you look forward to speaking to her. How's your confidence level in talking to her, to your wife now about if you're, let's say 10 is perfect and 0 is horrible? How would you compare your confidence level now on a scale of 1 to 10 in comparison where it was a month ago in terms of your ability to handle a conversation with her and to communicate the correct version of you to her?
Like, I would say I'm at 6 or 7 now. Like if you're like 1 to 10, like my confidence level of talking to her, because we talk about some communication skills just now, and I learned a little bit things. But like if you compare to before, right?
When you say Kid, I got it. When you say communication skills, I don't focus on communication skills. We focus on subconscious communication skills, how to communicate the subconscious part of you. So it's a whole different thing. But let's compare it. I just want to make sure, because the guy watching this may just say, hey, we just got done saying that I don't teach communication, the official regular communication. So we're talking about, just want to make sure we clarify that. But you're about to say, in comparison, you'll be a 6 or 7 now in confidence in terms of your ability to talk to your wife, particularly about yourself and your transformation, in comparison, where was it a month ago?
Like, perhaps like even before I joined the program, right? I'm confident in talking to my wife too. My confidence level is still high, right? But if I'm like learning what I have learned so far, and then I'm thinking about what I have been having all this confidence talking to my wife, then I'm thinking, hey, I'm just making too many mistakes. I mean, mistakes number 1, mistakes number 2, and 3, and I'm arguing, and I'm.
That's like, interesting. So you're basically what you're saying. So what you're saying is your confidence level didn't really change because you always had the confidence. Right. What you changed over here was the actual skills that you can actually see. That even though you were confident in the past, but you were making a lot of mistakes, and now you can see all those mistakes you're making. If is that what you were saying?
And the ability to spot the problems, like the to spot the problem. So I was trying to like give her facts. Right? I'm saying, okay, if you do this, then this is problematic to your life in this way or that way, and things like that. But like, that's not the right way to talk about
but Kid, you know that, relationship. I gotta say this. Yeah. Your problem, a lot of guys have the same exact problem. Like they're very, very smart, and they operate from the logical perspective. But that's a whole other conversation. We could be here for hours talking about that. But I do want to wrap up over here just to respect your time, and I would love to hear what you guys take away. What did you gain the most from Kit's story, from the interview with Kit? And Kit, thank you again for taking the time to share your story. It's always exciting, and it's always real to have a real person, and to be able to not just talk about marriage and personal transformation from a philosophical standpoint, but to talk about it from a human standpoint. And that's the gift you've given the group over here. And I don't know how many people will be touched by what you shared, or moved, or will actually, change their lives as a result of it. But even if it's just one person, that for that one person, we're talking about an entire family, a wife, kids, a family. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.